everybody, it's Chris Eads, known online as Wootini, here with another Gay Gamer video podcast for you. Remember when these used to be like 10 minutes long and it was totally in and out and you didn't have to watch me ramble on for a long time? I'm sorry that they've been so long lately, but I do have quite a bit to talk about these days, it seems. So this is going to be another long one, so brace yourself. First off, I went to the movies. There isn't anything out. It's not a big movie time right now. They're sort of biding their time before Avatar, I guess. But so in this case, I decided that I would go and see Zootopia 2 in 3D. Because, I love my 3D. So I said fine. Because, let's see. And it was fine. It's one of those movies that's just like aggressively fine. It's Disney, so it's just sort of like, it's not going to be terrible. It's going to be fine. It's not groundbreaking or brilliant, or it's not making you cry or feel anything. It's just sort of like, yes, that was perfectly entertaining, Disney. Thank you. It was that generic Disney thing. It's somewhat amusing. There's some good action for the kids to keep them entertained. It's just very much like whatever. Yes, it has a lovely message about racism and getting along and living together in harmony and stuff, and that's good for kids to hear and understand. But I feel like as an adult, it was just sort of like the animal puns were just cringe-inducing. And it wasn't as funny as I was hoping it would be. Also, I get the Babe reference. That makes sense. It's a kid's movie. But there's this totally random, out-of-nowhere Shining reference at the end, at the climax of the film. And I was just like, what the hell? No child is going to know what the hell this is. But it's hilarious, and I thought it was funny. I will say that it's well animated, and the 3D was quite good in certain scenes where they clearly knew it was going to be in 3D, so they pushed stuff at the screen and stuff, and that was kind of fun. So I enjoyed that. But it's just sort of it's fine. And I will say that it ends with a setup for a sequel, which they're clearly going to make Zootopia 3, because Zootopia 2 has made a gajillion dollars in its first week. And this theater that I was in, a matinee for a 3D showing the following week, was still really crowded. So the kids were enjoying it, so they'll make another one. And then before I get to games, I just want to say that I had to buy a new cell phone recently. My previous cell phone has been great. I've had no problems with it. But then over the last month, a few times, I get a pop-up notification saying there's no SIM card inserted. And I'm like, yes, there is. I did not remove it. What are you talking about? And one time, somebody was trying to call me and they sent me an email. They're like, I'm trying to call you for work, and they're like, I keep getting your voicemail. What's wrong? And I checked my phone and I got the notification again. And I was like, hang on. And all I had to do was restart and it would be fine. It would find the SIM card again. But I was like, that's not great. And I'm probably going to have to buy a new phone soon. But the battery still lasted all day. So I was like, I'm not in a hurry. This phone is fine. Why waste the money? But then the power button fell out the side. And I was like, okay. And I pushed it back in. But I didn't know how long it was going to stay in. And I was like, if it falls out when I'm not at home, thankfully it fell out at home. So I found it and it was fine. But I'm like, if it falls out, out in the world, I may never find it again. And then I'm screwed. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll look into a new phone. And it turns out my phone was coming up on 6 years old. My phone is almost 6 years old. So it's probably time for a new one. But like I said, it was working fine. So I was like, who cares? The problem is, so I looked into it and I'm like, okay, I had Boost Mobile. I've had Boost Mobile for years. I always go prepaid because I don't want to pay $80, $90 a month for my phone bill. So I go prepaid. And previously, when I had upgraded my phones with Boost Mobile, I had started paying I started at $25 a month. Then I upgraded my phone, so well, now you have to pay $30 a month. And I was like, okay, fine. And then my last phone, they upped it to $35 a month, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. It's only $5. But this one, I found out if I upgraded my phone to the next Samsung Galaxy, I would have to upgrade my plan to their current plan, which is $60. And I'm like, no, the whole point of prepaid wireless is that you don't pay $60 to $80 to $100 for your monthly phone bill. Like $60 is not cheap. Like, why are you so expensive all of a sudden, Boost Mobile? That's annoying. So I basically was like, no. And I started looking for other alternatives because my husband pays $30 on his AT&T prepaid wireless. So I'm like looking around and like, this one's good. And then that one is like, this one's cheap, but they don't have the current Samsung Galaxy. They only have the last one. So I can't get the 25. I can only get the 24. And I'm like, fine. But then I landed on Mint Mobile, which I'd never really taken seriously because that's the one with Ryan Reynolds doing the ads. But they were selling the $800 phone for like $410, and then you could get mobile service for $15 a month. And I'm like, what? Now, granted, the catch is you have to buy it in advance. So you have to buy either a 3-month for $45, 6 months for whatever that is, or a full year at $180. And I was just like, I'm like, okay. And I went online and I searched around, and everybody seems very happy with Mint Mobile and they have no problems. And they were like, check to see if you have good coverage in your area. And I'm like, I live in New York City. Like, I should have fabulous coverage. I should be fine. Thank you. I don't live in the boonies. That should not be a concern. But T-Mobile has a good network, so it's fine. But I was just like, I'm not going to pay like 3 months of $15 and then have it go up to $30. I'm going to get that introductory rate for the whole year. Like, so you have to pay in advance. So I basically bought the phone and I bought $180. So I basically have mobile service for a year now, and I don't have a monthly bill. I had an annual bill basically. And I don't have to pay again until next year. The switching, transferring my number over to my new phone was fine, and transferring over my apps and every information and everything, because Samsung Galaxy lets you just do a transfer and it copies everything onto your new phone. That was fine. The only problem is that then you have to like log into everything again, and that's probably going to happen for like like a month or so. I'm going to be like, I'll go to open some app I haven't opened in a while, and it'll be like, log in, and I'm like, what's my password? I haven't had to log in like 6 years. Like, what? The only real problem that I had was when I called Boost Mobile to get my account number and the transfer pin so I could move my number over to Mint. And of course, the guy on Boost Mobile, this guy in India, is like, oh, you've been a customer for 10 years. Thank you for being a loyal customer. How can we keep you? And I'm like, it's too expensive. I don't want to pay $60. And he kept trying to make me all these deals that are like, oh, well, I can like knock $20 off your bill for like 6 months or 3 months or whatever. And I'm just like, no, that's because then it's going to be $60 after that. And I don't want to pay $60 a month. Like, what? With Mint, after the introductory period of a year, which is a good introductory period, it'll go to $30, which is less than I was paying with Boost before. So he kept trying and trying and trying, and I was just like, I finally just was like, listen, I am not interested. Like, there's no deal you can make me. So I told him, I was like, look, I'm not interested. Just give me the numbers I need. Thank you. And he was like, okay, fine. I just had to shut it down. And I like my new phone. It's fine. The problem is that, like, it's smaller than my previous phone. I also don't like that it looks like an iPhone now, because my previous phone, it had like more rounded edges, and this is very like squared off with the edge that's like very iPhone-y looking. And the other thing that's annoying is that now Samsung Galaxies are more like iPhones because they don't let you put in memory cards to help expand your storage because they want you to pay for the phone up front. I used to buy a 128 gig phone, and I had a 128 gig micro SD card that I would stick in and it would be fine, and then I'd get 256. So I had to buy a 256 phone so that I could make sure I had enough storage. Which meant that I got to buy the nice mint green one, except you can't really, can you even tell? Like, I tried to show it to my husband, he was like, it looks like it's white. And I'm like, no, it's green. And he's like, I guess a little, it's very faint. So that's unfortunate. Because I was excited to get a color for a change, because I always just get the basic phones. So that was exciting. but always getting used to a new phone is always an ordeal. But I am excited that I am going to pay much less for my monthly phone service, and so far it has been great. So Mint Mobile seems to be doing well, which is good since I've paid for a year of service. I mean, you do have you can get a refund, like you have 7 days to like say, oh hell no. Like if you got it and you were like, no, the service keeps dropping out in my area and this is not going to work for me, you can get a full refund. But obviously, like I said, I'm in New York City, so it's fine. So that is very exciting, and I'm excited for my new phone. Hopefully it continues to be good. Then as far as games, I've not been playing a lot of Disney Dreamlight Valley. I've basically just been logging in, trying to find the blue chest to get my moonstones, and then logging out because I'm just like, there's nothing to do. I could do the DLC, but I don't really want to, because I'm trying to take the time off, because this coming week is the Winter Ball DLC, brings in Cinderella and a whole new Star Path, and I'm just like, oh god. So that's going to be time consuming. So I'm like, let me take my time off Disney, because then I can spend more time on the new Infinity Nikki update. Because I'm still exploring Eatsaland and like doing all kinds of different things, like riding snails now. There was a whole like mini game where you ride a snail, which goes pretty slow being a snail, except when they're in the water, and then they go like really fast. But this week, I spent a lot of time in Nikki doing birthday stuff, because they're like, hey Nikki, it's your birthday. And I'm like, oh wait, has it? And I looked it up, and sure enough, it's been a year since Infinity Nikki came out. Now I didn't start playing it on day one. I waited maybe a week, and then I started playing it. But I have been playing it almost since it first came out. So they're basically like, happy birthday, Nikki, and you like go to Wishfield, and all your friends, all the characters in Wishfield are like, the main characters anyway, are like, happy birthday, Nikki. And there's all these like birthday celebration things. Like there's this side thing with these puzzles, these little picture puzzles where you put little Tetris pieces onto the puzzles to like fill them in. And you earn more puzzle pieces. They're not that hard, because you basically just earn pieces by doing in-game stuff. So like, I'm sure there's a way to use the puzzle pieces that you already have to fill in all the spaces if you wanted to really spend time on it. But like, I'm like, oh, I just have that one little square spot. I'll just wait till tomorrow and I'll get a new little square piece that I can just stick there and finish the puzzle. It's no problem. And then once you finish, each puzzle gives you a piece of it's called the Radiant Crown outfit. It's one of those big, like, gaudy outfits that I never wear because it always looks weird, like, exploring and running around and fighting enemies in this big ball gown with a crown and shit. It just looks weird to me. And then there's also, like, regular birthday stuff. Like, you get birthday messages from characters, and they give you gifts of, like, in-game stuff. And then, like, there's a special outfit that you can get for free, the Melody Bloom outfit. And then that's what you wear during your birthday party, because you have like there's a little mini. I don't want to say like side quest, because it's not a quest. You don't do anything. You just show up, and there's a little cutscene and dialogue. It's like it's a side story. You go to Wishfield. Your friends wish you happy birthday. You go to the Sea of Stars, and the creepy seer lady is like, happy birthday, Nikki. Here's a reward. Here's your present. And then the final one was in your home, where the Yardlings make a cake for you, and then like literally everyone shows up at your house to wish you a happy birthday, and there's a big party, and it's very cute. So that's fun. So now I can get back to the main story. I do need to make sure that I pay attention to the various quests, and like the main quest obviously is ongoing, the Eatsaland quest. But like, I just want to make sure that like some of the side quests, like the Eatsaland side quests, will be like permanent, and I just need to make sure that I check on other side quests that might be limited to this particular season, you know. So I don't want to miss out on something. But later in the week, I ended up not playing as much Nikki as I would have thought, because I got a new game. I have not touched Saints Row 4 since Thanksgiving, when I played it on the train. On Cyber Monday, I was looking around. I was just browsing my phone, just killing time on Google, looking at articles and stuff. And then I saw there was an article on some website that was like, here are the big sales for Cyber Monday. And I'm like, eh. Like, I've already looked in the PlayStation Store and their sales were not great. It was either the games that were super cheap were games I didn't want to play, and the games that I did want to play were only like $10 off. And I'm like, well, that's not a good deal. I'll wait. But then they were like, oh, here's one for $20 on Amazon. And it's Star Wars Outlaws. It was $20 on Amazon on Monday. And I was just like, I've wanted to play this. $20? Yes, please. So unfortunately, I had to wait because it came from some other place that had to send it to Amazon, and then they sent it to me, so it didn't come till later in the week. So the anticipation built. But I was like, $20 is a good price, because I don't know what it is about the Star Wars video games, but they keep making them with like something about them that makes me nervous. Like, the previous, Jedi Fallen Order, and I was like, oh, that looks so cool. Oh, but it has this weird like Souls-like thing where anytime you heal, all the enemies respawn. I don't know how I feel about that. So I waited, and I ended up buying it for like 12 or $15 or something, and loved it. And it turned out it wasn't that big a deal. So I was fine, and enjoyed Jedi Survivor as well. Here, I know that Outlaws has a lot of stealth in it, and I am not a big stealth fan. I've said this multiple times on this podcast, and I don't like stealth so much. It's a very thin line. So I was like, But for $20, I said, sure, let's do it. And so far, I'm only a few hours in. It's still very linear. It hasn't even become an open world yet, because I'm still like being led around, and tutorial section is very long. I'm being tutored in how everything works. So it's not an open world quite yet. But so far the stealth has been totally doable. Like in the beginning, you're like on your home planet and you have to like break into some guy's house to steal something, except that the mission goes sideways and it's weird, but that kicks off the whole game, and you have to go on the run. Breaking into the house was fine. I snuck into the house. I took out a couple of guards stealthily and got into the house without being seen. It was totally fine and easy. Inside the house, sneaking around, I misread one of the tutorial instructions, and instead of stunning a guard, shot them. And the blaster fire alerted the other nearby guard, who came running over, and then we had a little pew pew fight, and I had to kill him. So that was again, it was like, oh, I got seen, but I was able to get out of it and return to stealth mode, and it's fine. It is nice, though, being a thief, because sneaking around and stuff, there's all this stuff, and it's like you should be picking up everything that's not nailed down, which is what I like to do. So that's enjoyable. And then on the way out to escape, there was a whole like hangar with a bunch of guards, and I'm like, okay, it looks like I could like sneak around and try to sneak around past the guards to get to the spaceship and escape, except all of the guards were standing by red barrels, and red barrels is video game shorthand for they will blow up real good. So I just shot the barrels and killed all the guards, and then just strolled up to the ship and flew away, and it was like, okay, that's fine, like, done. So it appears that it's a little flexible as far as the stealth goes. Later, once I got to the new planet, you crash on a planet, and then you go to the city, and it's like you have to go and do another mission for a criminal organization as like a trial run to see if you're any good. That one was a little more difficult. It was a little more complicated. I snuck in no problem, and then you had to like get through this whole area with like lots of patrolling guards, and like a couple of times I got seen and I was able to run away and hide, and then they gave up, and I guess they assumed I ran away, but then I didn't. But there was one time where I tried to run away and they got me and they shot me dead. Thankfully, the checkpoints are pretty frequent, so I didn't lose too much progress, and it was fine. And then I just was like, okay, let me go about this a different way, and I'll take the enemies out. Instead of coming from this side, I'll come from this side, and then it was much easier. And I totally got in. especially enjoyed, like, you have to sneak through a door. First you have to get rid of the energy barrier, and then once that's down, you can sneak through the door. The thing is that there's guards standing in front of the door. Except there's totally paths from either side to go behind the guards and just go in the door without them ever seeing you. And I was like, well, they're stupid guards. I'm assuming later in the game it will probably get more difficult, but right now it's not too bad. So far, the only real problem that I'm having with the game is that I can't save my game. Every time I go into the menu, the save game is blocked out. You can't manual save. Now, granted, it is saving at those checkpoints, and they are very frequent, so it's fine. And, but with big games like this, I don't like to just rely on the autosave. I do occasionally like to make a manual save game just so I have a backup, Also, with a game like this, and, there's choices to make that could affect the outcome. And so, like, I've already had one where it's like, I've discovered secret information. Do I give it to this criminal organization, or do I give it to that criminal organization? And so I also, like in Dragon Age, you like to keep some extra save games so that if you do something, you're like, wait, I've changed my mind. I want to pick the other thing. You can go back. Although I tend to, with big decisions, I tend to look them up online so that I don't have to go back, so I can just do it the way I want in the beginning. I can make a more informed decision. But it's fine because there's these criminal organizations, and you have to, like, build your reputation with them, and building it with one is going to upset another, and it looks like it's going to be like this balancing game, so we'll see how that works. I don't know. Like I said, I just started. But it's also interesting playing a criminal, because whenever I play a video game that has any kind of moral choice, I always pick the good options instead of the bad ones. I'm always a good guy. So playing a criminal is going to be very interesting. So far, Kves is a good character, and I like her, and she doesn't seem, she's not evil. She's just a thief. So that's fine. And I do enjoy picking up everything that's not nailed down, as I mentioned. But it'll be interesting to play like a criminal and working for this criminal underworld. And I'm wondering if at some point there's going to be some missions where I'm like, well, I don't really want to do that. That bothers me, but we'll see. As long as it's thieving, I think I'll be okay. As long as it's not an assassination mission. Although I don't mind Assassin's Creed. I love assassinating them there, so whatever. The one thing that I do love is Nyx. I will die for Nyx. That thing is so freaking cute. He's adorable. So that's delightful. And he's very helpful as well. You can use him in the game. Like, he can distract enemies. He can grab things for you so you don't have to, like, run from cover. He can, like, distract cameras. He's very helpful as well as being adorable. So, yeah, I know I said that I was going to borrow Ghost of Yote from my friend Cam, but now I don't have to for a while longer, because I will be playing Star Wars Outlaws for quite a while, probably. These open world games always take me a while to get through. So I'm going to shut up now, because this is probably one of my longest episodes ever, and come back next time, and I will have more to talk about, the new Disney update, and some more. Hopefully I'll be able to save my game in Star Wars Outlaws. Let's see. Come back and find out. Bye!